Hi everyone, good afternoon. It's Rachel again. I'm very excited to be here for another Pathfinders session. Now, today we're going to be talking about kind of the sneaky signs of spring. And I wondered how many of you watching have spotted a snowdrop already this year. Anyone spotted a snowflake? Not snowflake, snowdrop. Lots of people dropping in to say hi. So we found our first snowdrops, I think, last week in the same spot that we found our first snowdrops the year before as well. Yep, Helen said she spotted some snowdrops. Susan has, Lene has. If I say names wrong, please correct me. I'm very happy to be corrected. So a lot of you spotting those snowdrops. Hi, James and Laura. Hi, Mel. Hi, Hannah. Lots of you joining in. So yeah, we're going to be talking about the sneaky signs of spring. And there's a flower that features in our story. Now, just a reminder of the rules because I do it every week. It's really important to remember to have fun. But the main way that we have fun on a live is by joining in exactly how it feels comfortable for you. So if you need to just sit back and relax and watch, do it. If you need to be standing on one leg, do it. Whatever suits you. But make sure that if you're typing in the chat that you aren't spoiling it for other people by doing too many messages or spamming or whatever it might be. Oh, some people just saw snowdrops this morning as well. Perfect. And this is the perfect live lesson for you. We're going to go straight into our story. Now, I want you to imagine the scene. We're in a court of law. It's a very serious business, and there has been a crime against fairyland. Michelle is in Canada. They have 3 feet of snow, so no snowdrops, just lots of snowflakes. Wow. Yeah, it'll be very hard for a snowdrop to pop through 3 feet of snow. Blimey, that is a lot. So yes, there's been a crime against fairyland, and you're just going to watch the trial unfold. This is a tale that is from Wales, from Brecon Beacons, and I think you'll enjoy it. So get ready. Hi, Leo and Pip. Get ready, get comfortable. We're about to start our story. Your Honour, the defendant Peter stands accused of violating the ancient laws of the fairies and causing the doors to the fairy realm to close forever. Peter was seen sneaking a flower from the enchanted island on May Day, and it is this act that we believe led to the closing of the doors. We have 2 witnesses who will testify to the events of the day, and we also have the expert testimony from a botanist who will attest to the magical properties of the flower in question. Very well, thank you for that, prosecutor. Let's begin. Defendant, can you state your full name for the record? Peter Jones. And Mr. Jones, you do realise the seriousness of the crimes that you are being accused of? We have violating fairy law, plant theft and other illegal May Day shenanigans. How do you plead? Not guilty. Jack, can you please tell the court what you were doing on May Day, the day in question? The same thing I do every May Day, just like everybody else. I went down to the rock that only opens on May Day, and it was open, and we all went through, and we had a great time. There was dancing, there was singing, there was hanging out with the fairies. Some of the fairies were riding around on Welsh corgis like there were horses. That was pretty cool. And then we had some food, we did a bit more dancing, and then, I don't know, I just went home. Then how do you explain this? Nah, I didn't steal any flower. What would I want to do with a flower? That wasn't me, no mate. We'll now call our first witness, a fairy, to the stand. She was present on the day in question and witnessed the defendant taking the flower. Can you please tell us who you are? Thank you. Yes, my name's Snowdrop. I'm a fairy from the fairy realm, and yeah, that day it was my job to hand out these special fairy beverages to the guests. I love May Day. I love seeing everyone come. I'm devastated that sorry. take a moment to compose yourself. I know this is a great tragedy for you all. The portal closed forever and I will never get to hang out with you. So just tell us in your own words what you saw happen that morning. So yeah, so like I said, it was my job to give out the drinks and I was just taking a little break because honestly it was a really boring job and I think they just gave it to me because they don't trust me. But anyway, so I was taking a little break and just kind of hanging out beside a batch of snowdrops because I like snowdrops, that's why I'm called Snowdrop. And then I saw him over there, Peter. I saw him kind of sneaking around. What happened next? Well, I followed him, mainly because I was bored of giving out the drinks and I thought this looked more interesting, so I followed him. We went like down the waterfall and over some rocks, and then he hung out of the mossy like rocks and he was throwing pebbles in, and then like he looked around because I think he was trying to like throw people off who were following him, and he went to where the fern of the future flowers grow and he picked one. And are you sure? Are you sure it was him that you saw? Yeah, absolutely. I saw it with my own two eyes. He picked one and he put it in his pocket and then he ran. He ran so fast and I tried to keep up with him, but my wings are only little, and as soon as he picked it, it's like everything changed in fairyland. I'm sorry, it's just not. But yeah, it was him. Now, Your Honour, I'd like to call the next witness to the stand, one of our local scientists. Can you come up, please, and introduce yourself? Hi, ma'am. Oh, can I just say, Judge, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. I am so excited to be called as an expert witness. It's my first time. Okay. My name is Professor McFlowerson, and my job is a botanist. I study plants and flowers, and I can tell you pretty much anything about any flower that you would ever want. So tell us about the flower in question. Oh, so yes, that's a very rare specimen indeed. Some people call it the fern of the future, but because obviously it's in fairyland, we're not able to study it too much, but we do know that if removed, it can close the portal to the fairy world immediately and forever. And did you find any trace of this flower in Peter's possession? Actually, we did find some petals in Peter's pocket. Oh, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Petals in Peter's pocket, and some pollen in the petals in Peter's pocket that do look like they belong to the fern of the future. We'll now call to the stand our third witness, a friend of the defendant. So tell us who you are, please, and how you know Peter. My name's Stuart. I work for the fire brigade in the village. I have known Peter since we were small. We've been like best friends forever. Yeah, I know him really, really well. I trust him. I trust him with my life. So did you see Peter that day? I can't really remember what happened. You know, it's all a bit hazy. There was so much dancing. I felt a little bit dizzy afterwards. I can't quite remember what happened, whether I saw him or not. Sir, need I remind you that you are in a court of law, and lying or evading the truth could be seen as a crime in its own right. Oh, well, in that case then, yeah, I saw him. He came straight down to the fire station, telling us all about what he'd done, waving his flower around. He was really proud of it, wasn't he, that he nicked it, and he was telling everyone about it. Sorry, Peter, but I'm not going to prison for you. I rest my case. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. The jury has given me their verdict. It did not take long for them to come to it. It is unanimous. They find the defendant, Peter Jones, guilty. What? It wasn't me. Honestly, I swear, you can't trust those fairies. Honestly, they're always up to tricks. So who agrees with the verdict? Do you think guilty or not guilty? Some of you are convinced the scientist was lying, but who was guilty in the story? Or who do you think was guilty? It was Peter, wasn't it? Peter Jones. So in the original story, we don't know all the names, and there probably wasn't a botanist, but that's the thing with fairy tales and folk tales and myths and legends, is that they change and evolve over time. So there probably wasn't a court case that happened quite like that, but that's a different way of retelling it. Now, are you ready for your 5 questions? Okay, yep, some of you are already saying Peter. Rebecca still thinks it's the flower girl, the fairy. Well, there's your first question. What was the name of the fairy in the story? What was the name of the fairy? She'll be an easy one if you were here right at the beginning. She was called Snowdrop because she likes hanging out with snowdrops and being around snowdrops. So it was a special day, and on that day, the realm of fairies was opened up through a special portal where humans could go through. But what day was it? It was mentioned a few times, and it's a day that people celebrate today still. So one day a year, the fairylands would open in this place in Wales, and they could go through. Yep, someone's got it. May Day. Well done. It was May Day. Well done. Jaden got it as well. Brilliant. Third question. He went in, he did some singing and dancing and so on. Where did he put, or how did he steal the flower? Where did he put it? Where did he hide it first? Not the most imaginative of places, let's be honest. He put it in his pocket. Yes, he put it in his pocket. Last question. I lose track. I need to actually keep count of how many I've done. What was the result? So this is what happened in the first telling of this fairy tale as well. What was the result of a human picking a flower from fairy realm and taking it back across the portal? What was the result of it? A consequence. Yep, Jaden's got it right. Well done. Remember, you can shout it out, you can type it, you can tell it to the person next to you. I don't mind how you do it. Yep, the portal closed. That way was closed forever, so now we don't get to see the fairy realms. Now, the reason why I chose that story is because it talks about a flower. And right now, like I said earlier, we're just seeing this little buds with little saplings coming up of flowers. And it gives us so much joy, so much hope, because, well, I am sick of winter and I am ready for spring. So I thought we would talk a little bit about snowdrops and some other sneaky sides of spring, and a little bit about celebrating. Again, if you do the Exploring Nature curriculum, you might have some of this already, or you might be looking at some of this week, so it might be good timing for you. So we're going to watch my nature walk, and then after that we're going to do some moving. So get comfortable. Oh, you know what I forgot to say? I forgot to say grown-ups can go and get a cup of tea. That is vitally important. So if your grown-up wants to go and get a cup of tea, they've got a little while to do that now. They can watch this afterwards if they really want to. So are we ready to watch? Make sure that I am not talking. So we've come to a park where we know there's going to be some sneaky signs of spring. It's still January. It's going to be hard to find lots of signs of spring, but if you look really closely, you will find some. And we know, because we used to live near here, that this is a great place to find some of those signs. We found some. Not just some. Lots. Yeah. this is what we were looking for, a patch of snowdrops. Snowdrops are one of the first sneaky signs of spring. They grow from a bulb, which is kind of like a storage unit underground that has all the nutrients and things that the plant needs. And as the weather gets warmer, that bulb sends it out the shoots, and that's what you'll start to spot around this time of year. Snowdrops give hope to people. This winter has been long. I am tired of the winter. I like all sorts of seasons and weather, but I am ready for the spring. And so when I see the snowdrops, it gives us a little bit of hope. And hope is something that causes people to celebrate.
So the start of February is actually a really important time of year for nature explorers because it marks another transition. We are halfway between the winter solstice, which was the longest night of the year, and the spring equinox, which is when spring really starts to blossom. Two of the festivals that are celebrated right now include Imbolc, which is a pagan festival, and a lot of people right now will be thinking about the goddess Bridget. They might be doing some spring cleaning, they might be going for some lovely nature walks or having a bonfire. There are lots of different ways to celebrate. The second is Candlemas. This is when some Christians remember when Jesus was presented to the temple as a baby, and they use that time to think about Jesus being the light of the world and about spring being light into the world as well. A lot of people will light candles at this time. Some people will take their candles to a special service at a church to get them blessed, and then they take that candle home. There are lots of different ways you can celebrate this time of year.
So that's a couple of different ways that people celebrate this time of year. Celebrating can actually be a bit of a skill. It sounds like it'd be easy to do just to have fun, but you think about some of the celebrations that you might have like Eid or Christmas, and it takes a lot of planning, and sometimes that planning is more on one person than the other. And if we want to truly celebrate as a community, we've got to get that balance right of planning, of making things special, also making them fun and enjoyable. You want to have time together, but sometimes you want to have time to reflect on your own. It can be a tricky thing to celebrate. Nature is really good at helping us celebrate because it gives us those little sneaky signs that can remind us of the year going past, of the things that we need to remember, that the things are changing, and gives us moments to celebrate. So we're going to take a bit of time, me and my kids, to celebrate today. We spotted something this week. I was actually having a bit of a tough day, and we went for a walk in the park, and there was some artwork on the path that really cheered me up. So I thought today, as part of our celebration, we would leave around some messages for different people in the park. It might be a nice way for you to mark this time as well. It's easy, it doesn't take a lot of preparation, but it is a way of bringing a bit of joy and hope to people, especially when they're having tough days.
Before we started, we thought about some of the messages that might help other people celebrate themselves or celebrate nature, and then we got to it. It was lots of fun just to create, and then it was really nice to spot people going past our messages and smiling. Now, before we go back to the lesson, I have a mystery for you. I spotted lots of lichen on the floor, like loads and loads of lichen, and I wondered why. If anyone can solve that mystery, I'd be really pleased. Anyway, let's get ready for some movement.
Okay, well, I've got up out of my chair because I think it's about time for us to move. Now, I am limited in the space that I can use here, but I've tried my best to show you what we're going to do. We're going to play a quick game called Trees, Hedges, Ditches, Daffodils, Snowdrops. It's got a long title, but it's really easy to play. So you can do it sitting down or you can stand up. If I say trees, you have to put your hands up high. I'm going to stand up. Trees. If I say hedges, you put them out to the side because it's a hedge. If I say ditches, you go down low for a ditch. If I say daffodils, you do this shape. And if I say snowdrops, you need to kind of droop to the side like snowdrops, okay? I'm going to do my best to do it standing up here, but you might not see my face the whole time, so I apologize for that, but I'm sure you'll hear me. I'm going to go slowly first. Because here's the trick, you need to do what I say, not what I do, and I might try and catch you out. So we're going to go really, really slowly first. Trees, hedges, ditches. Hedges, ditches, trees, ditches. So if you were doing this right, your hand should be down here, not up here. Daffodils, snowdrops. Daffodils, snowdrops. I'm going to speed up. Are you ready? Trees, hedges, ditches, trees, ditches, hedges, daffodils, trees, ditches, trees. Oh, I'm getting out of breath. I wonder who got it right. If you do get it right, let me know. Grown-ups as well, put your cup of tea down. You can join in too. Let's have another go. Trees, ditches, trees, ditches, snowdrops, ditches, trees, ditches, 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 ditches. Your hands should be down. It is hard. Oh, I'm out of breath. That's another one that you can be playing when you're outside on your nature walks, or when, out of breath, or when you need a little bit of exercise at home. I think I definitely need more exercise because that has left me exhausted. Now, we talked about in that video about 2 celebrations that are happening now, Imbolc and Candlemas. There are lots of different ways that people celebrate. So we celebrated by doing our chalk paintings. What are some other ways that you can celebrate things? What normally do people do? Or are there any special things that your family does to celebrate? Have a little think about it. Talk to the person next to you or type it in the box. I'm going to try and get my breath back. Glad it's not just me out of breath. There's a few people there saying that they're out of breath. Whew. So how do you celebrate? So I found that there are some common things that no matter your religion, your culture, your location, your age, there seems to be some things that everyone seems to do. Leslie's got it. Eat cake. A lot of people have special food on their celebrations. So you could think about what you could do for spring for that. So in Imbolc, they have seed cake because the seeds kind of symbolize new life. So you can make something with seeds in. We always like to have hot chocolate in the woods when it's a special event like an equinox or a solstice. So you could do that too. Spending time with family, yes, that is another great thing to do, to spend time with people. Now, it doesn't have to be a big party. It can just be going on a nature walk. Maybe invite someone different with you for your nature walk this week. Visiting swans, brilliant. Someone's doing a butter ritual. I would love to know more about that. Candles. Yeah, candles is a really important one, a really easy one, but I think it really helps you focus and reflect on what's happening. Planting things indoors, yes, that's a great thing for this time of year as well. Chocolate, I will always approve of chocolate in a celebration. My youngest is having his birthday soon. He's going to be 4. When I ask him what he wants to do for his birthday, every time it's just eat chocolate cake. He's not bothered about anything else except eating chocolate cake. So I think we can probably fulfill all his dreams. Sleeping, yeah, rest is definitely a good way of celebrating as well. So it might be that you go out for a restful walk, or if you do have a safe way to have a campfire or a little bonfire, that can just be a restful time as well. So there are lots of ways that you can celebrate. Doesn't have to be all singing and dancing like that fairy party on May Day. It can just be something easy and gentle for you. Because if celebrating feels like it's taken from you, then it's probably not celebrating at all. Celebrating is really just taking moments to be thankful for whatever it is that you're celebrating. Right. Well, I'm going to show some of your crafts, and then I'm going to tell you what I did this week. So let's get this up. I don't know if you like to see my face in there or not, but my face is there. Look at these amazing crafts. I was blown away by how brilliant your weaving was. I just love the different things that people have used, the different kind of approaches that everyone's had. They are so fantastic. Look, this person has even cut out the bits from the side of the bag, which is what I love about Scraptastic crafts, is because you use what you've got to do it. You don't have to go out and buy things all the time for it. They do look cool. People are saying that they look cool. Look at these. This is another one with a kind of a sunset. They are so beautiful. Look, I love, is it a fly agaric there? I love these so much. Look, this is what Noah did. And what I like is that he didn't even use string. He just used the card itself to cut through, which I think is a genius idea. Right, so I'm going to go back. Oh, hang on. I'm going too far ahead. So before I go any further, what I did this week, part of it messed up a little bit. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I made, and you're probably going to think, well, I don't think that's messed up. But then I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I did it. So these are a couple of things that I made this week. I made some snowdrops. These are the things that didn't go to plan. And I made our house a wreath so that we could have something celebratory up as well. So I'll talk through how to do that. And then I want to see what you come up with. I love seeing all your pictures. If you want to send videos at all of anything you've done, maybe you've gone on a little nature walk, maybe you saw a stag and you want to record that, you can also email and send that to me. So I will put that out for parents to have so that we can maybe show some of those things as well. Anyway, talking too much. Let's get to this craft. Hang on. There we go. So what I wanted to do is look around and see what I use a lot of. And in our house, we drink a lot of milk. We seem to go through quite a lot, and we have lots of these that go out in the recycling. But I've discovered that it's actually a great plastic to use in different ways. It's really easy to cut. You can just use normal scissors. And so I decided to have a little go at making snowdrops. I just cut out the shape and I experimented, I like masking tape, with making these shapes. So far, so good. It seemed to be going okay. Then I got to the stems and I realized this was difficult. I couldn't work out what to use. I wanted something very specific, but I was promising myself that I wouldn't go out and buy things. And then figuring out how to attach it, I failed. Honestly, these might look not too bad, but they're so flimsy. They kept falling apart. They just did not look how I wanted. It took ages to do, and it still just wasn't quite right. But I'm so glad I failed. The reason why I'm glad I failed is because it forced me to do two things. It forced me, one, to take a break. I gave up because it wasn't working. And that was actually the best thing, because I actually left them a week at the side of the room, and I thought, I'm not going to worry about them. And then when I look back, I was like, actually, this isn't as bad as I thought. These look great. I don't mind them at all. So taking the break kind of made me realize that I was being a little bit too hard on myself. The other thing was that it forced me to look around even more and see what else I could do. So when you're doing your crafts this week, try and look around and see what you've already got. So we had our Christmas wreath that we'd made at a holiday club, and I loved it. But it was starting to, when all the little bits, the pine needles drop off, and every time the door closed, it would kind of go all over. It was definitely time to recycle it. So I took all of the evergreen off. My youngest wanted all the ribbons, so he took off the ribbons. And then I was left with the wreath and the pipe cleaners and wires that we'd use to attach it. That's when I realized that I could do something with this. So really easy. Made myself a little template. I used the milk bottles, the plastic from that, to cut out the shapes. I used the pine needles, the pipe cleaners. There I just put a hole in, and I just rolled up the top so that they wouldn't fall off, and then just attached it. So it's really simple, but I think looks really effective. And I never would have thought of doing that if I hadn't have failed in the first place. So what I would like you to do this week is go out and fail. I would like you to have a go at doing stuff, even if you don't know how it's going to turn out. So make something from a milk bottle if you use it, or a milk carton, whatever it is that around you, you think there's a lot of this. We should be doing something with this instead of just chucking it out. And have a go, fail, mess up, and see what you can create. The other thing I'd like you to do is celebrate, just in small ways. And I'd love to hear or see photos or read about how you celebrate it as well. Then you can maybe, if you're still doing your Minecraft or your Lego, you could add some sneaky signs of spring. And then the other thing is you could write or perform a poem. And again, if you video it and your grown up once it lets you do it, you can send that, they can send that to me, and we might be able to show some of those as well. So we're going to end with a poem now, and then I'm going to say goodbye and send you off all on your exploration. So here's a poem about snowdrops. Snowdrops, little white stars, appearing through the frosty bars of winter's grip, a sign of spring, a welcome sight, a joyful sin. Their delicate petals like a kiss from Mother Nature, a sweet bliss, a reminder that the cold will end and life will bloom again. Their green stems, strong and true, a symbol of hope shining through. The dark days of winter, they bring light, guiding us towards the warmth and bright. They peek through the snow, a sight to see, a promise of spring, a future to be. A reminder that even in the darkest days, nature always finds a way to amaze. Happy exploring, everyone, and I'll see you next week.